If we think about an account structure that I'm going to go through today, I'm going to break it into the component parts of a Facebook ad account. The campaign structure, the ad set structure, the ad structure. So at the campaign level, let's think about the things that we set. Number one, we are always bidding for conversion objective. There's a lot of narratives out there about bidding for upper funnel metrics related to add to cart or initiate checkout to season the pixel. Absolutely not always bidding for conversions. Two, we're always going to use CBO. I know that they have recently relinquished the demand to automatically use CBO, but for us, as often as possible, I would say 90+% of the time we are running CBO. And then three, we're going to use cost cap. We believe that one of the core value propositions that cost cap brings is raising the floor of your ad account. One of the things that I believe is that one of the most dramatic effects on an ad account is bad spend. Bad spend is worse than no spend, and cost cap helps to prevent that. So for the sake of this exercise, let's assume that we're targeting a CPA of something simple like $10. So as we think about this campaign structure, we're going to think about our cost cap is going to be built around the idea that we are going after a $10 CPA. So as we go to the ad set level and we think about how do we structure our ad sets, the important thing here to consider is the ratio between the number of ad sets and your budget, okay? So when you set budget in a CBO campaign, it gets set at the campaign level, right? And the way that we want to think about budget, your budget is going to equal your cost cap, okay? So in other words, your CPA target, times 7.14, which is the 50 purchases that Facebook requires to optimize an ad set in a week. So because we set budgets at a daily level, this is 50 divided by 7.14, times the number of ad sets, okay? This is the minimum budget you should have for any campaign that you set up using CBO. And the reason for that is because one of the core indicators of success for us in an ad account is we want to see less than 30% of money spent in the learning phase. It's one of the first things we look at when we look at an ad account, is how much of your budget is being spent in learning phase. And it's because we want to spend our money against optimized outcomes, not in the process of generating optimized outcomes. And so ensuring the positive relationship between the number of ad sets and the campaign budget is one of the primary ways that you can help to leave the learning phase quicker using this formula. So at the ad set level, what we're going to have, generally speaking, is a broad audience, okay? And one of the important things to remember about this phrase broad, I think it's bad marketing by Facebook. What broad really means is when you remove any audience constraints, we call it an unconstrained audience, it means that Facebook is going to use your historical pixel data to identify and find customers similar to past purchasers. It's functionally lookalike in a lot of ways. Then, important, super important, we're going to make sure we are excluding prospecting. It is really important that you are defining these phrases correctly by excluding all existing customers and WCA 30 or so. So you're excluding your website traffic, you're excluding your existing customers to ensure that you are driving net new customer acquisition. Really critical. Then we're going to have an interest stack. Same exclusions are going to apply there. And then one of the unique things about our structures is we're going to have our remarketing in this same CBO campaign. We have a video that talks about why we do that structure below in our YouTube playlist if you want to watch that separately. So we're going to have our broad and interest stack, a WCA 30. We're going to have our good core exclusions here. And then as we think about our cost caps, this is really one of the keys here, is that we have to make sure our cost caps are set appropriately. You set cost caps at the ad set level. And remarketing traffic needs to have a tighter cost cap than our prospecting traffic. So if I set this at something like $8, I'm going to set this at something like $12. This is going to help to ensure that the delivery doesn't get over-indexed in one area, okay? So we're going to set those cost caps to average out to our CPA target for the whole campaign. It's really important. So then, that's how we sort of set up the ad set level. Now, looking at the ad creative level, inside of each ad set, we're gonna have something like, let's call it 3 to 5 ads. Again, a lot of this is dependent on the budget. One of the things you gotta think about with a campaign is that each one of these endpoints here represents nodes of a test. The more nodes that you have in your campaign, the more endpoints, the longer it will take for Facebook to optimize. So it's important to continue to think about the relationship between the number of ads, the number of ad sets, and the budget that you have. The higher the budget, the more aggressive we can be on ads. The more evergreen the campaign, the more ads we can use as well. But generally, if we have something like 3 to 5 ads, and then each ad is going to have inside of it placement-specific creative. So we're gonna have our square sub-set 60-second video for IG feed. We're gonna have our 9:16 for IG stories. And then perhaps we'll use that same 1:1. Maybe it's a longer form video for Facebook feed as well. And then the other thing that's really important, and I'll make a note here, is check the visual of your copy in each placement. Because Facebook newsfeed, so if this is Facebook, this is IGS, and this is IG feed, right? IG stories uses the body copy from your ad and uses just a small amount of the text depending on the image. Facebook obviously has headline, sub-headline, body copy. IG feed just uses body copy. And so you want to make sure that you're adjusting the copy for each placement as well as the visual for each placement. And then in some cases, we'll also use DCT as well on the ad level. And so this becomes sort of our default account structure and setup for any account that we're starting out on. Now there's always exceptions to rules, but I'm not here to discuss the exceptions. I'm here to give you a sense of the base setup. And so when we think about building campaigns, we're gonna build them around things like angles, offers, and SKUs, okay? So every campaign is going to have a theme that allows us to look at the full funnel results against that specific theme. So SKUs is obvious. The campaign would be something like men's shorts campaign, right? Because your men's shorts, if you see our video on the different ROAS targets by SKU funnels allow you to set specific bid cap or cost caps and ROAS targets relative to the net margin of that product. Offers would be something like, this is my Father's Day promotional campaign, 20% off site-wide. Here's my funnel for that. And then angles tend to either be buying functions of the product or value propositions or marketing messages that you're attempting to try and sell around. Maybe this is all UGC testimonial campaign and it's all specific creative types. Maybe it's around a value proposition of your product. Maybe you're a pet food and you're selling, this is like my vegan pet owner funnel. So the key is each campaign is built around a theme. We call campaign CBO setups like this pipes. You can watch our video on the explanation of that as well. But this account structure will ensure that you are setting up to take the best advantage of the available Facebook tools in 2020. Stop by and check out our website for a 31-point audit where we will walk through evaluating your campaign against this setup and see how we could help you to scale and grow your performance on Facebook.